Hey everyone, my name is Dr. Shaylee and I am one of the chiropractors here at Align Life in Sugar Hill. I'd like to welcome you guys. I'm so excited you're here today. We're going to learn a lot about one of the most powerful ways you can support your child in their health and as they're growing and developing. You know, those moments when you wish your child came with a manual, especially when you go through labor and then they just hand you this baby and there's no instructions. Well, I can't give you that. I can share something even better, which is understanding how your child's body is designed to function because it's designed perfectly, and how we can support natural perfection in the way that God designed us to be. So, as a parent, it can feel very overwhelming at times, but what if what if I told you that many of these concerns might be connected to one fundamental system in your child's body, their nervous system? Today, we're going to explore the 5 essential reasons and make it pretty simple on why pediatric chiropractic care could be a game changer for your family. We'll talk about everything from how your child's body and how its brain talks to the rest of its body, and why some kids struggle with sleep, digestion, or even reaching their milestones or just growing slower than others. But most importantly, we'll discuss how gentle, specific chiropractic adjustments can support your child's natural development and help their body function exactly as it was designed, because it was designed perfectly. So, let's think of this webinar as your guide to understanding your child's body from the inside out. And whether you're here because your little one is struggling with something specific, or you're simply looking for ways to just help them grow optimally and be healthy, then you're in the right place. So let's dive in. This is super casual. Just want to help you guys understand your kiddos and how their bodies work better. So, we're going to start off with reason number one, the power of a healthy nervous system. So, let me share something really fascinating about your child and how their body impacts every single moment of their day, and actually yours too. So, let's imagine your nervous system is like an incredibly sophisticated, that's a fun word, family command center. Similar to those digital family calendars we're always seeing ads for, right? You know, the ones we're talking about, where you try to keep track of everyone's activities, appointments, and it's all color coded and it's pretty. Or maybe you're the family that has the calendar on the fridge and everything's color coded, and each child has their own color sticky note, or color highlighter, whatever your situation is. I'm sure it works for you. But the schedule's all in one place. Well, your child's nervous system is doing something even more impressive. It's coordinating literally everything happening in their body 24/7, 7 days a week, doesn't stop. Just like how you orchestrate all the moving parts of your family's busy day, your child's nervous system is constantly organizing and managing an incredible array of functions. It's working behind the scenes during those magical moments when your baby rolls over for the first time, when your toddler finally masters the tricky puzzle that you've been working on for weeks, or when your school age child learns to ride a bike without training wheels. They're all orchestrated moments that their nervous system has mastered, right? So let's break this down in a way that might make you say, okay, that makes so much sense. Your child's nervous system has three main branches, and they're all working together, kind of like a well organized household. Well, mine's not that organized, but if it was, this is what I would want it to look like. So, first, there's the sympathetic nervous system. Think of it as your child's built in superhero. And this is what happens whenever they react quickly. So think about, and if we think about you as the mom, think about if your child's in danger. You all of a sudden nothing else matters. You are using all of your senses to get your kiddo out of that dangerous situation, right? And you have this rush of adrenaline, and you want to save them. Let's pretend they're ready to fall off the monkey bars. You get a burst of energy, but guess what? They do too. So they get that same burst of energy when they're about to fall off the monkey bars and try and save themselves as you do. or they're getting ready for their soccer game and they have an explosive burst of energy because they just got a goal for the first time. That is normal. That is their body's superhero, so their sympathetic nervous system responding to certain scenarios. So that's the sympathetic side. Then there's the parasympathetic nervous system. This is like your natural calm down button, which I know what you're thinking. My kid doesn't have a natural calm down button, but believe it or not, they all do. It's essential. We all have them built in. And this is those precious moments when your baby finally drifts off to sleep, or when your toddler, who it seems like the only word they know is no, and they're going against everything you say, when they finally wind down and take a nap. And then finally, there's the enteric nervous system, which is specifically, this is more specific to digestion, and it's super important for everything from helping babies process the milk that they're drinking to keeping your growing kids comfortable after meals, right? So here's something that might surprise you. Every single muscle in your child's body, literally every single one, is actually a sensory organ too. I'm going to say that again. Every single muscle in your kiddo's body is actually a sensory organ too. So when your baby is learning how to crawl or taking those wobbly first steps, they're not just getting stronger. Their muscles are constantly sending messages to their brain, creating an incredibly detailed map of their body. I don't really know how to use maps. I use GPS, but in today's day and age, I think everybody would agree. But it's like the brain is developing the world's most sophisticated GPS system, greater than any map, but for their own body. So they're developing their own guide, which is so cool. But sometimes, just like how static can interrupt a phone call or your Wi-Fi connection isn't great, so the spinning wheel of death on the GPS or your iPhone's lagging. Just like that happens in real life whenever we're trying to navigate, it can happen in the body too. So the communication system can experience that interference. And maybe you've noticed that your toddler seems a bit clumsier than usual, or your school age child is having trouble sitting still during homework time. This isn't just a phase. It's often about how well their brain is receiving and processing information from their body. Again, every muscle is a sensory organ, so it's all communicating back to the brain. So this is where pediatric chiropractic care comes in. And it's gentler than you might think. I don't know if you've ever seen a chiropractic adjustment versus a pediatric adjustment, but they look very different. Using techniques specifically designed for children, pediatric chiropractors work to clear the static, essentially clear out the lagging, and help restore clear communication throughout your child's body, which is the same thing that we do in adults, just in a different way. It's like fine tuning their internal communication system to work as perfectly as it was designed to. Because again, I'll say it over and over, we were designed perfectly. So what might this look like in real life? Think about when your kiddo is learning to write. It's not just about knowing letters. It's about their brain knowing exactly how much pressure to apply to the pencil, how to coordinate their tiny little fingers in those movement patterns, and how to even hold the pencil, right? That's a whole skill in itself. And then also how to maintain good posture, which I'm a pretty big fan of good posture for reasons I don't think I have to say, while sitting at a desk or even sitting in the car. All of these things are muscle movements that they have to learn over time. So all of this requires communication. They don't know how to do it on their own. Their brain is learning every single day, making new neural connections and remapping everything that they're learning day to day. Okay, so one thing that parents often tell us in our office is that they notice positive changes after their child started chiropractic care. A few of those include better sleep, because guess what? Their parasympathetic system is working more efficiently, so they're able to fall asleep and rest better. They usually have improved coordination and balance, and this is thanks to the better brain body communication system. Remember, muscles are sensory organs and they're figuring it out. And also, if they had a deficit or they had milestones that they hadn't met yet and those showed up as coordination, then again, that's something we're working with them on, and that's in addition to making the static go away and the brain talk to the rest of the body better. One of the biggest things I get is kids are usually calmer. They're usually more focused in school or at home, and they're able to work on things for longer periods of time, or work with others better, which is huge, especially in school aged kids. And I mean, as a mom, you're already doing so much to support your child's growth and development. Literally, your life is making sure that they're eating, they're sleeping, they're healthy, they're functioning, they're pooping. That is your entire life. So our goal is, and by adding pediatric chiropractic to your toolkit, it's like ensuring your child's internal family command center. So you, as the commander of most ships in your life, it's ensuring that that system is as clear as possible and every signal is being heard and working at its fullest potential. I'm sure most of my moms are sitting there just thinking, wow, imagine if everybody listened to me and they all understood exactly what I was saying. So that was just reason number one. Moving on to reason number two is supporting your child's natural systems, from digestion to bladder control. I mean, as a parent, you know that when your child's belly isn't happy, nobody's happy. Those late night crying sessions with a colicky baby and worrying about reflux and am I feeding right? Am I feeding at the right time? All these struggles can then add to maybe even some constipation. And as a parent, this can leave you feeling helpless and searching for answers, especially late at night, maybe Googling solutions. And this is all, again, there's tons of great holistic information out there, but let's talk about how we can prevent that from even becoming an issue or solve it at the root, which is the nervous system. So think about your baby's digestive system like a carefully choreographed dance, right? I was a dancer and a cheerleader growing up, so lots of choreography in my day. When everything is in sync, it's beautiful and your baby feels well and they're processing their food comfortably and it sounds like a dream, right? Especially if they're having multiple bowel movements a day, at least three, and sometimes more if they're a baby and they're breastfeeding. But this dance can get out of step, and maybe you're noticing they're arching their back during feeds, or they're dealing with painful gas or struggling with constipation. So, something really fascinating that a lot of parents don't know is your child's digestive system, it actually has its own brain. So, it's called the enteric nervous system. It's like having a dedicated control center just for digestion. And it communicates constantly with your main brain, which is in your head, through something called the vagus nerve, which is a direct connection between your brain and your gut. So, when this communication is working well, I should say, everything flows very smoothly. But when there's interference, I mean, imagine like static in a phone call, we might start seeing issues like colic or reflux or constipation. And I mean, all this is distressing for both the parent and the baby. But let's focus on constipation for a moment. So, because I know many parents are struggling with this, it's very common. It's not normal though. It might have been recommended that Miralax is a solution, right? And I get it. I understand the temptation, especially because you don't want to see your kiddos in pain and we want them to be healthy and feel better quicker. However, there's something really important that I want to know about Miralax. Although it's an easy fix in regards to symptoms, it actually has never been approved by the FDA for children under the age of 17. In fact, in 2014, a study found that there were concerning side effects in over 167 kids taking Miralax, including side effects that messed with their emotional and their behavioral regulation. But the really important part is how it works. So when products like Miralax are used, it essentially is overriding your kiddo's natural digestive process. So the main ingredient in Miralax works by preventing water absorption, which might provide temporary relief, but it can interfere with how your kiddo's body learns to digest and then get rid of food naturally. It's like putting a band aid on a leaky pipe instead of actually fixing the underlying issue. And don't get me wrong, duct tape goes a long way in my household with fixing things temporarily, but I know it's just a temporary fix and it's not actually getting to the root cause. So remember that direct hotline we talked about, the vagus nerve? We just talked about it not too long ago. During the first few months of your baby's life, the digestive system is learning its dance steps. So from 0 to 4 months, especially when they're on breast milk or formula, their body is establishing these crucial communication pathways between the brain and the enteric system. So by 6 months, when we introduce solids, this foundation helps them handle more complex foods. So again, it's baby steps. So this is where chiropractic care comes in and where the technique is so important. So rather than just masking the symptoms, pediatric chiropractors work to support the natural digestive rhythm by ensuring that clear communication pathway between your brain and your gut. So using the specific technique designed for kids, right? It helps them remove the interference that might be disrupting the brain gut connection. So whatever interference is creating that static. So parents in our practice, I mean, they've shared many transformations in regards to their babies going from not sleeping through the night and because of their colic and their reflux to sleeping comfortably and not having that excessive spit up, to regular bowel movements without relying on medications, and now pooping multiple times a day. I mean, the success stories just go on and on. But in addition to providing or removing that interference, our job goes beyond that. We're trying to create a community where we can help give techniques, whether it's in regards to feeding positions that support digestion, or connecting you with a lactation consultant, or gentle tummy massages or techniques that you can do at home, or even natural approaches to supporting regular bowel movements. All of these are things that we try to create in our office. It's an environment to promote healthy digestion, but healthy healing for your kiddo and your entire family. Remember, their body was designed perfectly. It's intelligent and it knows how to work. Sometimes it just needs some support to find that rhythm. So when we talk about supporting natural body systems, we have another system that often is not as talked about, but it is more common than you might think. This is bedwetting. So just like digestive issues, nighttime incontinence is what it's referred to. It often has deeper roots and it lies within our child's nervous system. And this goes all the way back to their development and how they're functioning. And this is something that it's common, but it's not normal. So let me share something that might surprise you, but bedwetting actually affects between 5 and 7 million children in the United States. That's a lot of kiddos. So if your child is experiencing this, you're not alone and you're far from it, actually. So while it's particularly common in younger children, it affects about 20% of 5-year-olds, and some children even go past the age of 5 with bedwetting. And this can create some confidence issues or some embarrassment, and that's something that you want to try and catch early and help them progress through, rather than something that they have to deal with later on or medication. So just like your digestive system needs clear communication between the brain and your gut, it's important to note that the vagus nerve we talked about earlier, it also works with bladder control. So it requires perfect coordination between the brain and the bladder. It's like an intricate dance that needs to happen even whenever your child is sleeping. So here's the fascinating part is the same nervous system that coordinates digestion also controls bladder function. So when there's interference in this communication, remember that static we talked about, it can affect both systems. This is why some children might experience both digestive challenges and bedwetting. Their body's internal communication network isn't sending and receiving signals as clearly as it could. So you might have tried many approaches, like I've tried it all, right? So limiting fluids before bed, setting alarms, or even considering some medication or taking them. While these strategies might offer temporary relief, they don't address the root cause, and a lot of them have negative side effects. So the communication between your child's brain and bladder, this is where pediatric chiropractic care offers a unique perspective and a solution. So rather than just managing those symptoms, our job is to help the body function optimally by using those specific adjustments that help clear the communication pathways and allow your child to their body to work optimally. So beyond the adjustment, we also provide support and again, understanding that raising kids takes a village. So one of our goals is to create a community that's shame-free and an environment where you can feel heard and also create confidence for you and your kiddo. So whether they're struggling with digestive issues, bedwetting, or maybe both, these challenges, they often share a common thread, which is need for optimal nervous system functioning. And by supporting the body's natural body system through chiropractic care, we can help address these concerns and get to the root and create lasting improvement versus just, a duct tape temporary fix. So the third reason that chiropractic care is so crucial is it can help with the sleep connection. So your child's secret superpower. You are probably sitting there shaking your head saying, well, God forgot to implant the superpower in my kiddo because they will not sleep for anything. They fight me tooth and nail. I have heard that statement over and over and over. But I know many of you have probably been in that moment where it's 3 a.m. for maybe the third night in a row and you're just begging for your baby to go to sleep and Googling any remedy or anything that you can do, which is a natural response because sleep is so important and you know it is. So sleep isn't just about getting through the night. Though believe me, sometimes it feels like it. It actually is your child's secret superpower. Their body's time to heal, to grow, to process all of the amazing things that they're learning each day. Think of it like your phone's charging time, but infinitely more sophisticated. So during sleep, your child's brain is busy organizing its memories, it's releasing growth hormones, it's strengthening their immune system, it's doing so many important things. But here's something super fascinating that a lot of parents don't realize is that up to 50% of children, they experience sleep issues or challenges at some point. That's a lot of kids. So you're not alone. And if you're dealing with sleep issues, you're part of a very large club. It's not a fun club. It's not like a sorority of parents that are seeking answers. So when you're up in the middle of the night or at 3 a.m. and you're Googling for some answers or some help, just know that 50% of parents out there are probably or have done that at some point in their life. So sleep isn't just about having a good bedtime routine or the room temperature being perfect or those fancy sheets that everyone sleeps on now. There's a fundamental aspect, which is your child's nervous system. So remember how we talked earlier about the nervous system being like a master control center, right? Well, it plays a crucial role in sleep too. Again, it's the control center. It's like you, it controls everything in the household. It's responsible for switching between your busy bee mode and the sympathetic, which is the sympathetic nervous system, and the rest and digest mode, which is the parasympathetic nervous system. So when these systems aren't switching back and forth smoothly, if there is some lag or there's some bumps in the road, then that's where sleep disturbances become more prevalent, especially in the trying to wind down phase. So in real life, this might look like settling down at bedtime, or even though they're clearly tired and they are just fighting you because they're exhausted, they refuse to go to sleep, or they wake up frequently during the night. Or maybe even they just seem tired throughout the day, or they don't have motivation to play or do things that you know they love to do. Another symptom is they're extra sensitive to lights or sounds or touch, especially whenever they're trying to sleep. These aren't just random sleep issues. They're often signs that your child's nervous system needs some support to finding its natural rhythm. So here's why this matters so much. Sleep is not just about rest. Repeat that. Sleep is not just about rest. It's actually the foundation of all healing in your child's body. So when we see kids in our practice dealing with any kind of health challenge, whether it's focus, anxiety, physical discomfort, the first thing we look at is their sleep. Because when sleep improves, everything else follows. And here's the most exciting part. Sleep is consistently the number one improvement parents report when their child starts getting chiropractic care. So we often hear things like, for the first time in years, my child slept through the night, or we finally got rid of those midnight wake-up calls, or my child actually wakes up refreshed and it's not like me dragging them out of bed like a sloth. But how the heck does that work, right? Well, remember that important nerve we keep talking about, the vagus nerve? It's sometimes called the rest, digest, and regulate nerve for good reason, because that's literally what it does. It plays such a huge role in helping your child's body switch into sleep mode. So, through gentle, specific adjustments, we help ensure this nerve can do its job properly, allowing your child's body to find its natural sleep rhythm, because their sleep rhythm isn't the same as every other kid's sleep rhythm. They are unique. So, reason number 4, your child's natural defense system, more than just fighting colds. This is my favorite topic, and rightfully so. So, something super fascinating is that a lot of parents, they don't really realize is your body has its own built-in home security system. So just like you have a security system at home, right? I mean, if you were like me growing up in the middle of nowhere, you probably didn't even lock your doors, but times have changed. So security systems are pretty common. But something such as a security system is constantly monitoring your body. When there is an intruder, then the body steps up and says, intruder alert, we need to get rid of it, right? So our body has that same thing, that same mechanism. It's a lot more sophisticated, but it's called the immune system. But the really interesting part is the system doesn't work alone. It actually is in constant communication with the nervous system, like two best friends who would be texting each other back and forth, right? So think about this for a moment. Remember when we talked about your child's nervous system being like a master control center? Well, it turns out this control center isn't just managing things like movement and digestion. It also has an ongoing conversation with your child's immune system. Scientists have actually discovered something amazing, which is these special groups of cells throughout our body are called neuroimmune cell units. These are like tiny communication hubs where nerve cells and immune cells meet up and they share important messages. So it's kind of like meeting up with your friends at the movies. I don't even know if kids still go to the movies, but I used to. And you meet up, and that's where you get all the tea from the week, right? So our body has that. It's the hub where the nerve cells and immune cells meet up and they share information, which is super important because they work hand in hand. So when your child's nervous system is working optimally, it's like having perfect reception for these important conversations to take place. If you don't have reception, then the messages can't get back and forth. So the brain can quickly send and receive messages about what's happening in the body, and the immune system can respond appropriately. But just like a phone call with poor reception, if there's interference in the nervous system, these messages might not get through as clearly as they should. This is where pediatric chiropractic care plays such a unique role. Through the specific adjustments, we help ensure that, again, we keep talking about the communication pathway, that it's clear and optimal and that there's no static, allowing your kiddo to function in a healthy way. So parents in our practice, they often notice amazing changes such as fewer colds or recovering faster or better energy levels, improved sleep, which we already talked about because it's so crucial in building the immune system. But we're not just boosting the immune system in an artificial way. Instead, we're supporting your child's body and doing what it already knows how to do because, again, it's smart. So think of it like tending a garden, which I have absolutely no skill at, by the way, but your child's body does have the ability to utilize its own defense system and function at its best. Reason number 5 is supporting your child's amazing journey of growth and development. So, those baby milestone photos we all love to take? The first time they roll over, the first wobbly steps, the proud moment they climb the playground equipment by themselves. While these moments feel like magic, there actually is an incredible amount of coordination happening behind the scenes in your child's brain to make each of these achievements possible. So think about learning how to ride a bike for a moment. It's not just about strength and balance. It's about dozens of different systems in your child's body working together perfectly. So their eyes needing to see where they're going, the inner ear needs to maintain balance, their muscles need to respond at just the right time with the right amount of force, and their brain needs to coordinate all of this information instantly. It's like conducting an entire orchestra in a minute, with every instrument playing its part perfectly. It's truly wild. This is where the health of your child's spine becomes so crucial, but perhaps not in the way you might think. Yes, the spine provides the structural support your child needs to sit, stand, and move. But even more importantly, it is the armor, it's the protector of the superhighway of nerves that makes this coordination possible. So when your child's spine is properly aligned, it's like having all the traffic lights perfectly synchronized on the superhighway. Everything flows smoothly and efficiently, and there's no traffic jams, right? I live near Atlanta, so unfortunately there's always traffic jams, but ultimately the goal is that there's no traffic and everything just gets from point A to point B very clearly, quickly and clearly and back. So let me share something super cool about your kiddo's development. Every new skill that they learn actually creates new pathways in their brain. Think about that for a second. So, when your baby is learning to crawl, they're not just getting stronger. Their brain is creating an incredibly detailed map of their body and how it moves through space. It's like their brain is writing a new instruction manual with every movement they practice. This is where starting chiropractic care early can be so valuable. Think of it like laying a strong foundation for a house. Just as you wouldn't want to build on a shaky ground, you want your child's physical development to have the most stable foundation possible. Through gentle, specific adjustments, we help ensure that your child's nervous system can communicate clearly with every part of their body supporting them in reaching their milestones naturally and efficiently. So, again, just like every other category that we've talked about, our role is to help ensure that there's no interference in the system carrying these important learning signals. It's like making sure the Wi Fi signal is strong and clear so your kiddo can download all the new skills and that they're ready to learn in an efficient way. What makes this approach so powerful is that we're not forcing development or trying to rush your child through their milestones or interfering with in synthetic ways. Instead, we're supporting their body's natural ability to grow, learn, and to develop at its own perfect pace. We're simply removing any roadblocks or any construction or any traffic that would interfere with their natural development. So remember your child's body, it's incredible. It has this thing called an innate intelligence, which is something that they're born with that helps them survive and function optimally. Every adjustment we make is about supporting this natural intelligence, helping your child's body work exactly as it was designed to. And when we remove this interference from their nervous system, we're essentially giving their body the best possible environment to grow, develop, and thrive. That's ultimately the goal. That's what we try to do every single day. And perhaps most importantly, starting this care early in life helps establish patterns of wellness because those neural connections, they start instantly. So the earlier we can help them make the best map, the best GPS that we talked about earlier, the better off they are. So it's like giving them a head start on understanding and caring for their body, a gift that will keep giving long after, not just, it won't end with them, it'll keep going for generation after generation, even whenever they outgrow those milestone photos. So, as we wrap up our time together, I want to take a moment and just appreciate something amazing. Your child's body is incredible, and you're incredible for watching this to try and learn more about how their body works. And from the moment they're born, it's constantly working to grow, to heal, to develop in perfect harmony and homeostasis. Sometimes, it just needs a little support to function at its best. We've explored how pediatric chiropractic care can support your child's nervous system, their body's master control system, their natural digestive health, their comfort, their better sleep. We've covered a lot, including how it can help with balance in their immune system and coordination and just overall growth and development. But beyond these individual benefits, there's something even more powerful at work here. When we support your child's nervous system through these specific chiropractic adjustments, we're not just addressing individual symptoms, we're helping their body create a foundation for their health long term. So remember those moments we talked about in the beginning? The sleepless nights, the digestive struggles, the developmental questions. While every child's journey is unique, the underlying principle that remains the same is when we remove interference, we're supporting their body's natural ability to function optimally. Again, I know I've said it a bazillion times, but it is so important to understand that. So as you leave today, I want you to feel empowered knowing that you have options. You don't have to just wait and see or see if they grow out of it or, you know what, it'll just get better on their own because everybody has that, right? but you don't have to accept the same things that are just normal for kids. Through chiropractic care, we look at life through a different lens. We look at it through a healthy lens because we expect health and we expect miracles. So if you have any questions about what we've discussed or would like to learn more about how pediatric chiropractic care could possibly benefit your kiddo specifically, please don't hesitate to reach out. Even if you're not local to where I'm at, which is north of Atlanta, Sugar Hill, Georgia, I would love to be a resource for you. So reach out. I'll try and connect you with a chiropractor near you, and together we can help your child thrive naturally and in a healthy, holistic way.